Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be going over how to set up a recording template in FL Studio. This is the same template I use to record my vocals into FL, something I'm starting to do very regularly, so keep your eyes out for stuff that comes from that. But yeah, without further ado, let's get straight into FL Studio. So here we have the template here. This is what it looks like, and just for the sake of this video, I'm going to go from scratch so I can show you how to get from nothing to get here if you're a complete beginner. So I'm going to open up new from template. Most of you are going to be starting with basic 808 with limiter, so let's start with that. All right, so here we are in a brand new project. As you can see here, we've got the stock drums. There's no preset here, except there is a limiter on the master. Now the first thing we're going to do, just so we don't forget, for the master, we're going to drag the limiter up a space. We're going to open it up. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to drag down the attack, release, and the sustain here. Leave that as it is, and then we're going to put a fruity soft clipper after it. Okay, now the limiter is basically to raise the gain into the soft clipper, because when you drag your beat in and you record your vocals, you're going to be recording at about -6 dB around about. So that's basically to bring the level up so it's nice and loud so you can hear it at the end. But this is not a mixing tutorial. If you want a mixing tutorial, I'll probably make one in the future, so look out for that. But yeah, that's the master. We can move on. First thing I like to do is to dedicate a mixer track for the beat. Now this would be different if you're recording to just an MP3 or the stems. Generally, I just drag the MP3 in to record and then export the stems of the acapella or the vocals that I recorded back into the stems of the beat and mix it entirely from there. So I'm going to name this mixer track beat, and I'm going to give it a color, red for instance. Now I'm going to right click on the next mixer track. We're going to put a separator on here just to make it a little bit separate. And this is going to be a recording track. So we'll name it that, which makes sense. Red, obviously, because that's for recording. And because that's red, we'll switch this to make that green. Make sure this mixer track's highlighted. You're going to go to the input source drop down menu. Now, because I'm using a Focusrite 2i2, I've got two inputs, and I know my mic is plugged in on the first input. So I'm going to go in one, and you're going to see that my voice is now, and you're going to see that my voice is now coming through FL Studio. It's quite hard for me to listen to and talk at the same time, so I'm just going to mute that. Now this is the raw vocal coming in, and we're not going to put any effects on this because we do want to record our raw vocals into FL, just in case you want to change any effects or something like that down the line. If you put your effects on your recording track, when you record, you're going to bake those effects into the WAV file, and it'll be much harder to make slight tweaks in compression or anything else for that matter. So record your vocals dry, and I'll show you how to add effects right now. So you've got your recording track here. You can add another separator if you like. This is just where all my other tracks are going to be. I'm going to name this one lead. This is going to be your main one. We'll make that pink. And this is where you're going to want to put all your effects on. Now, obviously, you're going to have other tracks such as, for simplicity's sake, we'll call it backing bus, because you're going to have backing left channel. That's going to be panned left. You're going to have a backing right channel. It's going to be panned to the right. You just make these like light blue. And then you don't need to go ham with the separators like I am, but you might have ad-libs. And at this part, you get to the point, you just add all the tracks you think you're going to use. Because I'm making simple trap vocals, basic songs, I don't need that many tracks, but this is a template. You can put in the tracks that you're going to use every time, and you can build on that when you're in the actual project if you need to. This is just to save you time initially when you first boot up and you want to start recording. So on each of these tracks, you want to put the effects on that you're always going to have. For me, I've got a preset saved for my lead vocals. Just so this video isn't too long, I'm just going to brush over them. If you want a full video, I might record a mixing vocals video in the future. I've got auto-tune. I've got an EQ, cutting out the lows and the highs. Got another EQ, sort of boosting the highs and cutting out any 1K for nasaliness. Then I got fresh air. This is really good for crispiness. I really crank that up. We've got an SSL EQ, just to brighten it up, give it more presence. And then a limiter for some compression. And now also what you want to do is you're going to want a delay and a reverb send. This is very common practice, and you're going to want to put your favorite reverb and your favorite delay on each of these tracks. So I'm going to use these stock plugins just for reference. You want to make sure your dry level is all the way down, your wet level is at 100%, same with the delay. And then you're going to want to tweak the delay time and the level to preference. I like the ping pong preset, so what I'm going to do is just go to the ping pong preset here, make sure the dry is at 0%, and I'm going to leave it like that. And the reverb, I like a little bit of early reflection. Open up the stereo separation a little bit, about a 4 or 5 second decay time, size at 100, and then bring the low cut up to about 200 hertz. And now what we're going to do is we're going to link all these tracks in the right way. And if you do this, correctly, it should sound right. So you can follow along if you like. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our recording track. We're going to disconnect it from the master, and then we're going to click on this arrow below the lead vocal. Now this is if you're recording your lead vocal. Generally for me, I only record into this bus, but if you want to record backings with different effects, if you want to record ad-libs with different effects, you just move this to each of the tracks that you want to record. But for my default template, I'm going to start with the lead most of the time, so I'm just going to have it on the lead mixer track to begin with. And now if I turn the recording on, it's actually sending audio to the lead. And if I turn this on, you can see it's sending audio from the record bus to the lead bus and then into the master. So if you want to later, you can send the audio that you record to any of these buses. The one this recording bus is sending to is the effects you're going to hear when you're recording it. So in this case, I'm going to hear all the effects that are on the lead channel. And now what you want to do is connect your lead to the reverb send. So you highlight your lead track and you sidechain it, meaning you don't disconnect the master. You sidechain it to the reverb and the delay send. Basically, you just click these two arrows. And now you'll see it's sending to the reverb and the delay, and it's mixing it with the vocal. If I turn this on, you can hear a lot of reverb and a lot of delay. So what you can do is go and turn the volume down of each of these because it's quite loud. And then you can also change the send amount, meaning the dry wet knob of these sends. So if you turn this down, you're getting more dry signal, less reverb, more dry signal and less decay. So I usually have these at about 50% here. And I bring these down until they're nicely in the background. Take me away. Also, make sure when you're recording, you're not recording too hot. Both into your interface, make sure the little ring, if you're using a Ficus, right, isn't red, it's nice and green. And also that you're not clipping when you're recording into FL Studio. So what you can do is just bring down the recording fader. Yeah. And also what you can do is play with this knob until both vocals are at the same level, so that you can keep this fader at 100, and all you have to do is turn down this recording fader to change the volume. Now you'll have to do this for every bus if you do switch to recording with different effects in your headphones, but this is just how I do it. You can change that if you like. Now that the mix is all set up, you're pretty much good to go. All I like to do now is go to the playlist here. I rename this track for where I put the beat, and then I go to another track. Usually I just go track 3. It's up to you which one you use. You go track mode, audio track, and then you link it to your recording track. And that way from here, you can arm and disarm your mixer track from the playlist, so you don't have to have this open the entire time if you don't want to. Also, another tip, if you don't know, make sure when you're recording, you go to audio settings and change this device to the device of your interface, so that there's very little delay in between you speaking into the microphone and you hearing it back. I'll quickly show you how to save this as a template as well when you're done. All you need to do is go save as, locate where your FL Studio directory is on your hard drive, go into it, all these folders will come up, you find the one that says FL Studio, you go into there, you go to projects, templates, and you save it in here. And then if you want this to be your default template, what you're going to want to do is close out of FL Studio, restart it, and then open up general settings, and then go down to the bottom right here where it says default template startup project. Make sure the startup project is default template, and then you want to change your default template to whichever one you want. I keep it as my beat making template, but you can change it to your recording template. But if you want to switch between, you can just go new from template and they'll both be there, or all the templates you have will be there. So now from here, all you need to do is drag a beat in. Make sure you match your BPM to the BPM of the beat when you drag it in. And then when you go to record, make sure your mixer track is armed to record and this project recording is on. And you're good to go. And once you're done recording your take, drag it out of the recording track. And you're going to want to send it to the lead bus or whatever bus it is that you want the vocals of that recording to be. Now, I want that to be my lead, so I'm going to send it to track 3. And then you can listen to it back. Now, obviously there's some tweaking to be done, but that's depending on how you want to mix your vocals. So yeah, that's all I've got for you today. If you like the video, subscribe if you want to see more content, hit the bell notification if you don't find next time I post a video. If you have any more questions, let me know in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. If you have any other tips, also put them down there and let me know. But yeah, that's going to be it. Thanks everyone for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I love you.